So in this video, we will discuss about first class function. The question is, are Python functions first class functions? Yes, they are. Indeed, Python support the concept of first class functions. So what are the properties of a first class function? What are the prerequisites that should be there for a first class function to be called a first class function? So these are the properties. So the function should be an instance of the object type. Okay. Function can be stored in a variable. A function can be passed as a parameter to another function. We can return the function from a function. Function can be stored in data structures such as dictionary, list, etc. Okay, so all these properties are available in Python functions, and hence we can say that a Python function is a first class function. Okay, now let us understand these properties one by one. So let us talk about this property, object type. We have to understand what it means here. What exactly is meant by object type? Now basically it is nothing but object-oriented programming. What happens is when you talk about object type, it is basically a user-defined composite data type that will have data structure as well as functions. They will work in tandem to mimic the behavior of the object that you are trying to mimic. So all the properties of the object will be represented by data structure, and that particular object's behavior will be mimicked through having different functions, relevant functions. Okay, so that is what is object-oriented programming all about. And the interesting piece over here is in Python, everything is an object. Yes, you have heard me right. Everything in Python is an object. And if everything is an object in turn will certainly have data structures and associated relevant functions. Now all these things in Python are objects like int, list, dict, tuple, etc. All these are objects, and hence they will have their functionalities built, right? So this is all about object type. Now let me bring in the second point. It says that a function can be stored in a variable. This is another requirement, or this is another property that should be there with a function to be called a first class function. So let us discuss about this. Okay, let me give an example. So this is what it is, right? So what I will do is I will write a small program, and then we will discuss whether it works or not here. So I will say func1 and I say print hello, right? So how a function is invoked? By writing like this. Write the name of the function followed by a pair of parentheses. Done. So whatever you have written inside this function will get executed. Right, so I have written only one line. That one line is getting executed. It is printing hello. It is printed hello. However, when you are saying a function can be stored in a variable, basically what you are saying is this is an object. Everything in Python is an object. So func1, the function, is an object. Can I store something like this? Yes, I can. Which means what? If I am writing func1, it is printing hello. If I write x, it will print hello. Basically, func1 is an object. I have given that object another name, x, but it is referring to the same thing, and that can be confirmed by printing its address. So if I write x, it is printing what? This address. If I write func1, it is printing, and just see the address, they are same. Basically what is happening is the object func1 is resident in a particular place in memory. That place is being referred to by two names. One name is func1, the other name is x. Can I have third name? Of course you can have. You can also write something like this. Now what happens? If I write, I can invoke the same function. If I write y, same address. Correct? So that is how it works. I hope the point number 2 is clear. Let us go to point number 3. Point number 3 says a function can be passed as a parameter to another function. To understand this, we will have to have two functions. One function will take another function as a parameter. So one function I already have, that func1 I already have, remember, it prints hello. I will create another function. Okay, here, let me copy that point first. Okay, done. Now I'm writing another function. Let me copy this and just simply modify. Okay, so this is my function number 2. My function number 2 accepts, it accepts another function. So I can write, well, I can say input func, or whatever you want to write, you can write. And here I will say this is func2. That's all I'm printing. I'm not printing anything else. Okay, I don't want to complicate. Let this be very simple. I have to only prove this point. Now what happens is when I am invoking func2, I am passing another function, that is func1. What will happen? Well, nothing has happened. I have passed fine. But when I am passing func2, when I'm passing func1 to func2, here it is func1. When it goes here, the name has changed, right? The name has become func. I could have written same name also, but anyway. Now I can write here input func. So what happens is the func1 and this input func and func both are same thing. Now inside this function, the same object is being referred to with the name input func. So if I write input func, it will do exactly what func1 does. What func1 does? It prints hello. So let me enter this and now enter. So what is happening? You see, when I say func2, func1, func1 has gone here. This is the argument, this is a parameter. So inside this, it is getting executed. Print, this is func2 has printed. Second line is what is happening? It is invoking this function. It is invoking this function, what? Input func. In fact, it is invoking this function. Only the name is different here. What is being referred to as func1, it is being referred to inside func2 as input func. That is the only difference. So that is happening. It is very much happening. So I can pass a function as a parameter to another function, right? So second point is also in place. Let us talk about the third one. It says we can return the function from a function. Now what is this? We will see this. Okay. Let us copy this here. Uh-huh. So this is next. Now I have func1. Remember, I have func1. What I will do is I will modify func2. Okay, I will modify func2 and I will write something like this. I will say, let me not modify this. Okay, I don't want to change this. Let me write another program here. I will write func3. Okay, okay. Func3 is this. I don't want to write anything because I want it to be as simple as possible. I will only have the things which I need. So I will write this is function 3. Okay, and maybe I can pass func2. Should I pass func2? What func2 is it? I will pass func1. I will pass func1 and I can give any name, whatever I want. Okay, remember input func, and I will invoke this. I will not invoke this. I will simply say return input func. So what is happening? Just see. When I invoke function 3, I will pass function 1. Okay, here function 1 is being passed as an argument to func3. So here it is called parameter, right? So func3 is getting a parameter. Okay. What I am passing? Func1. Here the parameter name is what? Input func. But what is getting copied? Nothing but func1. Right? So func1 is getting copied over as input func. I'm printing this is func3. I'm saying return input func. Now when I say return input func, what will happen when I'm invoking like this? Well, you will say this is func and return input func. It is returning something you are not storing. What ideally I should do? Yes, this is func. It has written something but you are not stored. Meaning that something you are getting but you are not storing. But I should store that, right? Ideally, what I should write? I will write x1 is equal to func3 func1. So what will happen? It will print this, and what it is returning? Basically, it is returning object func1, and I am storing that func1 as x1. Now listen, x1 when I invoke, that is equivalent to invoking func1, right? Func1 hello. If I write what I will. Why this is happening? Because this func1 is getting passed over here. Here's an input func. The name is different. I am returning this object. That means I am returning func1. That means the end result of this statement is returning of func1, right? So object x1 and func1 are the same, and inside this particular function, that function 3, the same thing is being referred to as input func. So this is what is called, it should be able to return a function. So it is doing that. So my point number, this, I don't know what number it is. I think it is fourth point is also in place, right? Now we will see the last one. Now what is last? It is interesting. We'll see. Copy, paste. Okay. Now I'll go to the next cell. Now I have func1, right? Just see, func1 you have, right? I have. So what I will do is, can I store this in a list? Let us do that. Func1, func1, func1. Okay, thrice. Now what will happen? Just see. It will be interesting. I will see X. X has got what func1 does. Func1 does, I mean, it does something, but I'm not activating, I'm not invoking because I'm not writing parentheses. I said func1. That means I'm only talking about object. That object is nothing but this. How I can invoke that object, this particular func1, by writing parentheses, right? Which means I can say x of 0, I'm referring to this, and then I write parenthesis. That is equivalent to writing func1. Hello. right? Same case here, same here. In case I write something like this for the sake of fun, right? If I write like this, what will happen? See, this is getting invert function. You'll print hello. And what it is returning? Let us be very, very careful about this, right? Where is my func1? See, it is not returning anything. That means it is returning none. Okay. By default, when you do not write a return statement, okay, it will return none. Even if you simply write return like this, it is going to return none. Since I have not written anything, it is returning none. And that I can see here. So I invoke the function if I, this I have done. Now if I say the moment I done, this statement is getting executed. See, this is getting activated, right? Func1, the moment it goes there, it invokes. So hello, for this hello, for this hello. But what is there in X that I need to see? It is none, 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 because this func1 is returning none, and whatever is returning, that is what is going to get stored. So it is none, none, none is stored. So can I write something like this? Func1, func2, func3. Now what is happening? Look, I have not invoked, so it has not executed those functions, but it is storing those object, which means if I write x0 and this, I'm executing function 1. If I say 1 and if I write like this parenthesis, I'm executing function 2. Okay, okay, there's a problem. In function 2, you have to pass something, right? Look, function 2, what it function 2 does? I don't know. Function 2 takes function. I mean, you have to pass some function. Even function 3 also expects something to be passed. So be mindful of that. So when I'm writing this, I cannot simply say this. You have to pass something. Maybe I will pass func1. Perfect. Now x2, pass some function, any function, whatever you want to pass. Maybe I will pass again one, well, right? So what happened? X1 func, this is function 2, it is telling because you have passed function 1. And what function 1 does? It gives you hello. And function 2 does something like this. You'll have to really read the program. Function 2, where is that? This function 2, what it does? It function 2, whatever function you can print this, and then it will execute whatever function you are passing. So, okay, don't write like this. Okay, yeah. So this is function 3. This function 3, you just go and read function 3. I think I read 2. No, that was wrong. Function 3, what it does? It says that it will print this is function 3, and whatever function it pass, it will return the address of that. So that is precisely what is happening. This is function 3, and it is returning the address of function 1 like this. And not address, the object. It is returning that object. Okay, fine. So we have understood now that all these properties are intact when we are talking about a Python function. And if these properties are there, I can say that my function is a first class function. So this is what is meant when somebody says that Python function is a first class function. Okay, the lingo sounds very overwhelming, but the concept behind that lingo is very simple. I hope you have understood the concept. There are quite a few good material available on the net. You can go through them. You will understand it very well. And you can also read this, and maybe you can try out your own functions. You can write these functions, or you can write your own functions to see whether these things are working or not. And once you do on your own, probably this will stay with you forever. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.